Tonight on the Black Channel, it's not as easy to be anti-black for the black political puppets as it used to be. It's getting a lot harder. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting superfortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college and university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, well, folks, basically, here's what we're looking at. You are living in a day and age now where people are starting to take rapt notice of these things. They're starting to take a hard look at it, and it's not going to be nearly as easy to get away with things as it formerly used to be. People are going to be a lot more scrutinizing going forward. A lot more. Let me go ahead and start with some video out of Florida here. Florida State Representative Angie Nixon. And while she's done some things here that I can support, but then I see other things. And I'm like, okay, I gotta say something about this. So this is her speaking in the Florida legislature. Well, I'll let you watch it for yourselves. It's gotten 11 million views on X, formerly known as Twitter, still known as Twitter. 11 million views. This is what happened.
10,000 dead Palestinians. How many will be enough? One of my colleagues just said all of them. Wow. One of my colleagues said all of them. One of my colleagues also stated that this is going to dry up their fundraising if we vote on this resolution. I also want that, that's what we've become in this state. That's what we've become in this state, where we don't care about innocent babies that don't even get the opportunity to blow out their first birthday candle. We are at 10,000.
So she was very emotional about this, very emotional. And of course, I think there can be a place for that. My real thing is the Florida legislature. All I'm just saying here is, by the way, if there is video of her breaking down in tears for black folk, I would like to see that, because, well, this is her standing up for black people. I mean,
when black folks are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When black folks are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When black folks are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When black folks are under.
so that is her supporting, that is her doing that. So that's her doing that. And she's got a track record on here. She's looking for military support, apparently. So she has a track record on here. Haven't run the paperwork just yet here, but yes, there is a track record at work there. She's here for all the single moms. All right, got that. Understood. I did want to take a moment here. They were pointing out that this woman here, when she said, how many more Palestinians have to die? And this woman here said all of them. She said All of them? Okay. Okay, she's got her account restricted here, so she said all of them. So I just want you to understand what's going on down there. And this is what you're dealing with and what you're looking at, by the way. But all things remaining equal here, I'm just saying sometimes, folks, I mean, I'm not going to question people's sincerity necessarily, but what I will say is, wow, sometimes folks start performing. Sometimes folks start performing. And where black folk are concerned, I'd like to see a lot more action, a lot less performance is what I would like to see. I'd like to see that. That's the kind of thing that I would like to see. Certainly, anybody saying that killing all these people is acceptable at all, naturally, that should be cause for outrage. Of course, it should be. Absolutely. And I have no problem with that being the issue here. But what I'm also going to say here is that our black political class is very good for being jacks of all trades, masters of none. This woman right here has established herself as a race warrior. She sees herself on the front lines of the race war, and she is unapologetic about doing so. Our representation, not quite so much. Our representation is not focused on black first. Our representation is focused on saving the world, is what they're focused on. They're focused on that. Yes, you certainly do have a humanitarian crisis happening over there in the Middle East by cause of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, just the latest one in a long string of them. But we've got a humanitarian crisis happening right here. And every time that comes up, that becomes an issue. In the chat room there, by the way, we'll let Rod call up when I open up the phone lines. We'll let him call up when I open up the phone lines. So, don't remove him yet. We'll have him call up when I open up the phone lines, because you got to understand, some folks want attention. And that's fine. We'll go ahead and let them have some attention here. Although, keep his information. If he doesn't call in, we'll ban him then. At the front of things here, there's a lot going on. There's a whole lot going on here. Here's another one here. It posted that black Americans have the highest unemployment rate in the country, and yet these companies have 400 positions available for illegal aliens. I've been talking about this for the longest time now. For illegal aliens. 87% of Biden's votes came from black Americans, and many are now saying they'll be voting for him again, if this isn't the textbook definition of insanity.
Take advantage of all the opportunities available here. Now, nearly 500 refugees from Venezuela, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Ukraine have registered and showed up to the job fair at the Misericordia home. Now, nearly 500 refugees from Venezuela, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Ukraine have registered and Now, nearly 500 refugees from Venezuela, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Ukraine have
Venezuela, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Ukraine. How many billions of dollars in aid did those last three get?
Now, nearly 500 refugees from Venezuela, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Ukraine have.
How many billions, not millions, billions of dollars in aid have they received, which is supposed to benefit them over there, and yet over there is not enough. They put them on planes and boats and everything else to bring them over here. And of course, to drop them off where black people are. What's the point of sending billions of dollars to Ukraine if they're going to just try to come over here? Or if they will be allowed to? If the point is that they're supposed to be over there fighting the Russians, aren't they? Aren't the Ukrainians on $60 billion? Isn't that so the Ukrainians can fight the Russians over there? And yet, you're seeing them holding job fairs for them over here.
Available here. Now, nearly 500 refugees from Venezuela, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Ukraine have registered and showed up to the job fair at the Misericordia home. With the help of interpreters, refugees are meeting with dozens of representatives in healthcare, manufacturing, hospitality, logistics, and many more. More than 400 vacancies are available, and these companies are committed to hiring and providing them needed support to succeed in the workplace. This event is not just about finding them a job, it's also assisting them to get their degrees accredited, financial advising, providing information on government benefits, and language classes.
Folks, I mean, they're literally bringing them over here and putting our tax dollars to work to install them as the middle class. I want you to understand what I'm saying there. So, black folk have been victims of benign neglect for decades. They're bringing these folks over here by the thousands and thousands. You heard what they said. School for the kids, health care, government assistance. You've already been assisted by being allowed onto the soil without being deported. So in other words, they're bringing them over here and giving them direct financial resources. They are getting direct financial help, financial payments. But what I warned you all years ago, you wouldn't be able to make it. You can't get off a banana boat and come over here and be able to make it unless you get a huge leg up. Now, in a few years, these will be the same folks telling you that they did it all by themselves. That's who it'll be in a few years. In a few years, they'll be telling you they did it by themselves. They're going to tell you that they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. That's what they're going to be saying in 5 years. Their kids are going to be at school, smart enough to your kids, telling your kids that my dad came over here with nothing in his pockets from Ukraine, and he pulled himself up by his bootstraps. That's what they're going to be telling you.
These companies are committed to hiring and providing them needed support to succeed in the workplace. This event is not just about finding them a job, it's also assisting them to get their degrees accredited, financial advising, providing information on government benefits, and language classes. One of the organizers is a refugee from Afghanistan who says he relates to the struggle of starting from scratch in a new country and the importance of these resources.
But obviously, he didn't start from scratch. In WGN, that's Chicago. They are flooding the zone in Chicago at an unprecedented rate. Flooding the zone. They're showing you that Chicago has been targeted for the ethnic cleansing of black people with a legacy in this city. That's what they're showing you now. They're focusing on ethnically cleansing the legacy black population out of that area.
He relates to the struggle of starting from scratch in a new country and the importance of these resources.
Because what I have been through, I don't want other refugees go through. It is very difficult, it's very tough. Until you don't experience, you don't know.
At the 18th Police District, a sea of tents and blue tarps. More than 2,500 migrants wait for housing at police stations like this one. Some of the more than 20,000 new arrivals who've been bused to Chicago. Many of them bringing skills that could be put to work here.
Sí, es importante. It's very important because if you're looking for a job, that's the first thing that you're asked if you have a work permit.
Anna came to Chicago in September, but is still waiting for a permit.
Claro. Like that's one of the main reasons why we immigrated and folks come to the United States is to be able.
You didn't immigrate if you came across the border illegally. That's not immigrating. Any more than breaking and entering into someone's house is residing. burglarizing someone's house is not entrance. I got to thinking about this here, by the way, because I was asking myself, how is it that individuals like this can do stuff like that and look at you with a straight face? And then I got to thinking about it and realized, but Jason, you're attempting to discuss law and order with folks who come from lawless places. Did you all understand that? I want you to let that marinate and sink in for just a few moments here. You're trying to discuss right and wrong and law and order with folks who come from openly, blatantly lawless places. We're trying to discuss organized and law-abiding with folks from lawless places where literally they brag about killing folks obeying the law. They're from lawless places. There are no laws where they come from. Think about that for a few moments. We're discussing illegality with people from lawless places. And there's millions and millions of them raised in lawless places. Now they're walking among your children, lawless. Just keep that in mind.
Like, that's one of the main reasons why we immigrated and folks come to the United States, is to be able to work and be able to have a job that offers them the support for their family.
But starting this week, a new program and a series of workshops could help speed up the process of getting work permits for as many as 11,000 asylum seekers.
At the workshops.
Did you hear that? Why, we're working on a way to speed up the process for 11,000. Now, please keep in mind that Black people have not been given this kind of expedited service. Now, have we? Have we ever been able to enjoy that type of expedited service? I'm just asking. 11,000 people. This is no little thing. This is a fully funded government policy in a city where your mayor is dependent on the Black vote. And he's showing you, by the way, my paymasters have told me that we are here to dispossess you. You haven't seen the blackface talking yet now, have you?
They will be going through a legal screening, so attorneys will determine if the immigrant is eligible to apply, and if they are, then volunteers will help with the application itself.
Work permits are extremely important for anyone who is looking for stability because it allows people to work legally and earn good income.
While the program will help new arrivals, it will do little for the 180,000 estimated undocumented people here in Chicago, still waiting for work permits. For security reasons.
Did you hear that?
Estimated undocumented people here in Chicago, still waiting for work permits. It will do little for the 180,000 estimated undocumented people here in Chicago.
180,000, and this is just an estimated 180,000 in Chicago. 180,000. That's around about the population of my hometown of Shreveport, Louisiana, a mid-sized city. A mid-sized city. And that's what they've got there. 180,000. I warned people years ago why they're not even going to be subtle anymore. If the Black population is no longer dependable to depossess itself and disinherit itself, they're going to go ahead and pour some fuel on the fire and just say, damn the rest, we bum rushing the door. We're bum rushing the door. So 180,000, that's not a small number, people. they let you know, we've been building this for years. We've been building this for years. They're bringing in whole countries of other people. Whole countries. They have a job fair with allegedly 400 or 500 people. They tell you that we really need to help 11,000. But by the way, there's 180,000, at least that's our estimate, with more coming every day. Pretty soon that number will be 250,000. And your black politicians, this is what they are standing up for. Everyone except our interests. A politician who refuses to say no, political representatives that do not say no, do not represent you. That's my point. Political representatives who don't say no on your behalf do not represent you. They represent somebody else. They represent someone else. There are others out there here, but you know what I really want to do is I want to focus on this video right here. This is a video that is making the rounds, is being posted and reposted by people. Newly elected Mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. Folks, the word is out. The word is out. It's not on its way out. The word is already out. And we got to make sure that everyone understands that we cannot bite our tongues on this, and we must call it out completely the way it is. Do not bite your tongue. Do not mince words. The woman up here on the screen talking to the puppet mayor of Chicago. She has some choice words to say about all this.
People. I'm talking about descendants of enslaved Africans. We're hurting. The things that our people have been on the waiting list come for. The immigrants are coming in, getting everything, and I don't have time to go into all of it because I have another concern. When I used to come down here under Harold Washington and we were fighting Ed Burt, Badoliak, and the rest of the haters of black people that sat in these seats down here, we had 2 Latino aldermen. We had Luis Gutierrez and Jesus Garcia. They never pushed a black woman around. They never voted against black people's issues. They never held meetings behind Mayor Washington's back to form committees. They never tried to take black wards and black precincts. I thought we were on our way to a black and brown coalition. But you know what? I thought I'd see it under you. But you know what? Carlos Ramirez, he spoiled all of that. And it was disrespectful to every black man down there on that floor, including you, that he's comfortable enough to put his body in front of a black woman, you understand, and tell her what she can't do, because she know ain't no strong black men down there that's going to confront him. He know his people got his back.
You see the one down here in the front middle? You see how she looking around all sheepish? You see how she looking down? Oh boy, that's guilt. That's guilt going on right here. Well, I know she right there, but by the way, I just thought I would point out. You see how the woman down there in the middle in the front, she looking real meek now. As soon as she started talking about that, she started looking down at the table. She's staring down at her feet. Baby, ain't that much in the hell damn world going on them laptops.
Down there on that floor, including you, that he's comfortable enough to put his body in front of a black woman, you understand, and tell her what she can't do, because she know ain't no strong black men down there that's going to confront him. He know his people got his back. I wish it had been me he pushed. But I'll just go on to say this. Something has got to be done, because all black women ain't satisfied with Immigrant's apology and forgive. We ain't for it. But
She could have just said, forgive, but I understand that might have been a little bit too melodramatic, so I get it, but she could have just said, forgive. We ain't with the forgive. Come on now, represent now. I ain't mad at you.
But I'll just go on to say this. Something has got to be done, because all black women ain't satisfied with Immigrant's apology and forgive. We ain't for it. But back to the buses, my brother, please, coming from your elder. We've been talking. The elder's been talking. We're looking for you to help us on this issue. Stop the buses. Please stop those buses from coming in here. Will you please? Thank you.
That's going to be a hard sell, sister, because this right here, this is the reason he doing that.
100 refugees from Venezuela, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Ukraine have registered and showed up to the job fair at the Misericordia home. With the help of interpreters, refugees are meeting with dozens of representatives in healthcare, manufacturing, hospitality, logistics, and many more.
Dozens of representatives from a string of different industries. Dozens of representatives who've bellied up to the bar and come up to the slop trough like a herd of sow. And that is who Brandon Johnson is really answering to, because they choose these obscure weirdos who didn't come from the soil, didn't come from the street, handpicked by the political establishment. They are actors and extras walking on the set. And this is the penalty that you pay when you elevate individuals who don't come from the soil and they're not part of what we do, and they're picked by the political corporate environment. And there's a never-ending stream of would-be climbers and feckless, shameless lackeys like Brandon Johnson. Folks, they got a never-ending stream of the Simone Sanders of the world, the Roland Martins of the world, who are just looking for a better job appointment. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They're just looking for a better job appointment. There's literally a never-ending stream of them, which is why the next step of the process is very, very clear. We need to make it certain that we say it in no uncertain terms. We have not arrived until we call out individuals like Brandon Johnson and stop asking him for help and do what the hell I did to his predecessor and what I did to Keisha Bottom B down there in Atlanta and what I did to Governor Cuomo in New York. You've got to be you need to be calling him out now, not to support him, but calling him out to say we are against you because you have now shown you are against us. But furthermore, it also shows what happens when you haven't gotten someone to commit to a black agenda before they can have your vote. This will be a brutal wake-up call for black Chicago people, but a necessary one, that a black agenda isn't something you can wink, wink, and nod over here. You got to come straight up the middle and say, this is what it is. This is what we want. This is what it's got to be. And if you are not offering that, I'm not offering you my vote. You can't sit up here and speak in code words and speak in vague generalities, and we're going to speak in these little subtle, slick words. No, you got to come straight up the middle so everyone understands what your point is, what the agenda is, and what you expect in no uncertain terms. That's how you get those things done. That's how you get those things done. We are not going to be able to make this work until we come out straight up the middle and say, no, Brandon Johnson, we're going to make an example out of you. We're going to make an example out of Brandon Johnson. That's how you make your point. Every city council seat, the mayor's office, alderman, whatever, we're going to make an example out of you. But that has to come from the soil. This idea that if the Democrats put a black person up there and we don't really know much about him, whoa, that's your first damn warning sign. See, you see this coming out of Chicago. This is a playbook that they used before. Remember Barack Obama? Nobody knew anything about Brandon Johnson before he ran for damn mayor. Knock it off. Nobody knew anything about him. Worked for the school board. What the hell? Well, the Democrats say he's okay, and well, he black, and well, he's not Lori Lightfoot. Now you see all they did was swap out drunk Uncle Lightfoot for dumb Uncle Johnson. This fella is the weirdest ass alfalfa from the Little Rascals looking Negro you ever seen right here. A never ending parade of weirdos and wackos they keep flooding through there. And even that could be forgiven if he had a black agenda. Folks, you can't leave it up to chance. You can't sit up here and assume that wink, wink, he gets the point because we voting for him. No, you can't. If he's not offering a black agenda, you stay home. You gonna vote. You don't support that. Stop sitting up here grabbing some black politician from somewhere that was handed to you by somebody else. Well, I just assume he'll do that. No, if he don't come out and say this is what it will be, vote for me because this is what I'm going to do. A black agenda, here we go. If he's not saying that, he can't stay. If he's not saying that, he cannot stay. See, here's the thing we got to understand. We have to speak clearly that we are anti any politician who has anti-black policies. Particularly the foundational descendants of the slaves, if they have policies that are anti-us, that undermine us, and stop this nonsense that in order for black folk to get support, we got to show we rolling with everybody else. Folks, you have to grow out of that childish naivete. We don't gain anything by, quote, showing people that, oh, we along with everybody. No, everybody needs to show that they're with us. On account of the fact that what we have done has benefited everybody, it's time for everybody else to pay back into the system that we built for them. It's time for them to pay back in. No, we don't need to build coalitions with others. They need to build coalitions with us. This idea that we're going to have a political movement where we make no demands and that a black politician, supposedly black politician, can keep his job or keep his support while he blatantly undermines us? Oh, hell no. In Chicago, we need to make sure that is the issue. How dare you sit up here and come up with unlimited resources for a bunch of illegals who aren't supposed to be standing on the soil, and the black folk who are the soil and built the soil. You sitting up here telling us, oh, we don't have anything for you except plenty of jail space and plenty of black sites. We've covered that before. The Chicago Police Department literally has black sites on American soil. All these buildings where you can be arrested and spirited away at, and folks don't know where you are. That's in Chicago. And yet for the illegals, and they ain't getting that treatment right there. You're doing a different type of investment for them. That's not accidental when they do that. If they are not talking about investing in us, he got to go. We ain't trying to hear it. Don't tell me, folks, a lot of y'all got baited and switched, and you wonder why it was for years. I wasn't supporting that. I told you what the reason was there before. Don't tell me about Chicago giving away or selling vacant lots of land. They're not offering the illegals vacant plots of land are they? And they're offering them a long stream of benefits.
Misericordia home. With the help of interpreters, refugees are meeting with dozens of representatives in healthcare, manufacturing, hospitality, logistics, and many more. More than 400 vacancies are available, and these companies are committed to hiring and providing them needed support to succeed in the workplace. This event is not just about finding them a job, it's also assisting them to get their degrees accredited, financial advising, providing information on government benefits, and language classes. One of the organizers.
Do you hear the laundry list of things that they're offering these folks? Not just one or two, basically turnkey service. You need a place to live. You need health care. You need daycare for your illegal kids you brought over here. You need a job. You need help getting your degree so we can upgrade your job. This is turnkey service that they're offering. Turnkey, one-stop shopping. Something that has literally never been offered to the oppressed, penalized black population in Chicago for decades. This is never, if we were getting this kind of support in Chicago, we would already be the dominant economy in Chicago. If we were getting this level of support. If they were giving us this level of financial and logistical and governmental and social support, we'd have been the dominant economy up there by now. We'd have been that. We'd have already had that. Man, the whole damn lakeside would be black owned. Everything from the Bean all the way up to the north side, that would be black owned. So recognize what you're seeing there. It's not accidental. When they do that, that's not accidental. This is part of a planned, orchestrated strategy. If you agree that this has all been pre-orchestrated, give me the 100 emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's over 4,600 people in here live listening to the only haven of intelligent black thought that you're going to find speaking like this. You're, of course, welcome to join us. What we're going to do here, we're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to give you yet another reminder about this kind of thing here, because there are a lot of folks out there who think that's how they're going to make it. Our job is to let them know that we are watching. We will not stop watching. That is what we will continue to do. Before we do, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. Mr. McLean, Mark B., thank you very much for your support. We appreciate that. Mr. Kamathi, Brenda Starr, and everyone else. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be discussing this and more. This is The Black Channel.
Hello, my name is Steve Burgess, and I'm the author of this book, Guidelines for the Successful Student, a closer look at parenting your school-aged child. In this book, I've explained the role of the parent and the student in addition to what accommodations, procedures, rewards and consequences and expectations that need to be in place to ensure student success from primary to high school. This book is available on Amazon.com. For more information, please visit my link tree at Easy One-on-One, and to access my latest podcast, A Teaching Moment with Mr. B. Thank you all for listening.
A white supremacist assassin seeks revenge. Corrupt FBI agents with evil intentions. Dangerous black collaborators dedicated to treason. Occam Jeffers must defeat them all and somehow survive. One misstep and he's a dead man. Join Occam Jeffers as he looks the devil in his blue eyes and tells him, "Black first." A sequel to the underground hit War of the Heart, Spirit of 1811 Publishing presents God Love Us, on sale at Amazon. Pre-order and save today. Visit spirit-of-1811publishing.com and show your love.
I am America's stepchild, and this is my diary. This diary is dedicated to the descendants of American slaves. Born in the projects, ass out, the beginning was the end for me. No time to pout. Born in the projects, ass out, the beginning was the end for me. After 20 years of silence since the Miami Beach police assaulted me and almost killed me for absolutely no reason without being held accountable, with the support of the white supremacy religion system, namely judges, lawyers, and municipality, I tell my story.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' natural body butter with skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is The Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. I would be remiss. I would be very remiss if I didn't at least review this, because there's a lesson to be learned here. The Venerable Dr. Cornel West. Well, of course, he's become very, very agitated about what's happening to the Palestinians and very, very agitated about Gaza. And I just wanted to go ahead and play this for you, and then I have some words about it.
I'm on my way to the gathering for the ceasefire for precious brothers and sisters in Gaza, but I am telling you at this moment that we are having a Zoom Thursday, November 16th, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, a Zoom for each and every one of you to be a part of. Please be there. And some of the fire tied to the ceasefire, the laurel fire tied to the call for ceasefire, will be there on the Zoom. See you there. Stay strong.
And as you all can see here, there is my comment on it there. This is not a black agenda. This is not a black agenda, people. This is not a black agenda. This is not what a black agenda sounds like. It doesn't do that. This is, when I talk about this, political performing and whatnot, this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about here. Someone explained to me, where's the black agenda in there? How does this promote our cause because we are in the most need? How does this promote our interests? How exactly does it do that? Folks, if you'll remember here 3 years ago when the pandemic broke out, you'll all remember Jason Black's position on these things was abundantly clear. That my response to everything would be cut the check. No. Not for everybody else. You cut the check over here for us. Everything else is literally on hold. The pandemic broke out. They're talking about pestilence and disease and dying in the streets. And they're going to go down there. And I said, yeah, folks are getting sick. Yes, it's a virus. The virus going around, folks are getting ill. And man, hand me my Halls, hand me my Theraflu, hand me my heated blanket, and cut the check. Yeah, cough. Give me some Robitussin and cut the check. Or better yet, you take some Robitussin and cut the check. Jason, the conflict is broken out. Where at? In Ukraine. Could you even find Ukraine on the map? Well, the bottom line is there's a conflict over there and we can't see about your issues. Oh, yes, you can. How are we going to do that? There's a conflict. Look here, man. Hand me my army helmet and my bulletproof vest and cut the check. But Jason, this could end the nuclear war. Oh man, in that case, you better hurry up and cut the check before the bombs start falling. Yeah, you better hurry up and cut the check. Now you don't have a moment to waste. If they get ready to drop the bombs, hey, hurry up and cut that check. Jason, the Israelis and the Palestinians are at it again. That's very, very unfortunate. Cut the check. Jason, are you serious? I meant it when I said everything else is on hold. Everything else is on hold. I am not going to back, champion, reinforce any other agenda except this one. When this one gets straightened out, then I'll see about everybody else. But y'all ain't straightened out this here, and every time it's time to talk about us and to discuss what needs to be done, you keep trying to change the damn subject. And all I'm saying now is that we ain't playing this game anymore where you change the subject every time we roll up and say, okay, this got to get done. Oh, is this, that, and the other. Oh, think about the little babies. I sure am. I'm thinking about the little ones over here. Cut the check. No, I don't want to hear about anybody else's struggle or problem until you fix our struggle and problem. They're the newcomers. We've been catching this for 400 years. They're the newcomers. You need to take care of your long-term issue before you start trying to put other folk in the front of the line and let them leapfrog us. You got to take care of this issue. And if you're not going to take care of this issue, as far as I'm concerned, don't a damn thing get done until this happens. Oh no, I'm dead ass serious. Nothing gets done until our issue is seen about. And we are not going to truly come into our own until we make it clear to the politicians who claim to represent us that we will not support you until you make it clear there is no other business on the agenda except this one. And when this one gets dealt with, then we'll come back and talk about all that bull jive y'all discussing. But this is the agenda. Well, Jason, what is the agenda, folks? This is what reparations looks like. Don't let anybody sit up here and fool your ass. What they're doing for the illegal aliens? Yeah, there it is. Reparations across the board. Resources and support across the board. They're telling these people, no, we're not just going to give you a little help. We're here to make sure that you attain a specific outcome. That's what this flood, this avalanche of support they're giving us is to make sure that they're guaranteed and ensured a specific outcome. Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. Yeah, we've been talking about that right there. And what you've proven is you're not stupid. You just play stupid, but you're not stupid. You get it. You've always gotten it. Every time we show up and say, yeah, that's what we need to get that. We need to get that. You said talking about, oh, we ain't got it. These other folks showed up and you made sure that was available. And let me also be clear about what I'm about to say here next. This was a public-private partnership. So you got the government working together with the so-called private sector to make sure the illegal aliens, non-citizens, illegal entrants into the country who should not even be standing here, you're making sure that they're good. And that's the level of support that we're supposed to be receiving from the public and private sector. All these banks, all these schools, all these institutions, all these social clubs, all these entities that made billions, if not trillions of dollars off of our suffering. All of them are still at it today, still viable today, trying to enrich everybody else. Oh, no, 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 no. Back the Brinks truck up over here. You can back the Brinks truck up over here and start dropping them resources. But I am stating it in no uncertain terms. If anyone ever asks, Jason, what do y'all mean by cut the check? What do you expect? Right here, what you doing for these illegals? That right there. That right there, that's what we expected. Reparations across the board. Not just one-dimensional, but multi-dimensional. And what you've shown us is that, yeah, you get it. You understand. You know exactly what it is that we're supposed to have, and you know exactly what it is we're supposed to be getting, and you've also shown that you are willing to do it, but only as long as you think you can weaponize it against us. See, this is the cruel, petty joke of the white supremacist society. We told them what we needed for reparations. Ooh, we can't do that. Hey, 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 hey. We'll do it for everybody else. Hey, 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 hey. See, just like the only folk they want to prosecute for hate crimes are black folk. The hate crimes will be made to protect us. We're the only ones being prosecuted under it. To them, all of this is a joke. And our job is to make sure that they understand that if we cannot all be equally comfortable, then we will all be equally uncomfortable. Those are the new rules. That's the way that it's going to go down henceforth and forevermore. Those are the new rules. That's it. So if anyone ever wanted to ask me, Jason, when you said reparations across the board, what do you mean? What they doing up there in Chicago right now for the illegals? Exactly what they're doing for the illegals that they claimed the whole time. There wasn't no money, wasn't no resources, wasn't no nothing. And in Chicago, if you dare let Brandon Johnson get away with giving any more excuses to anything else here, shame on the city. Shame on the city. He shouldn't be allowed to show his face anywhere ever again. Not in public life or anything else. He shouldn't be allowed to show his face anywhere ever again. Not after such a blatant display of disrespect. Not after that, you don't. Not after that, you don't. Not at all. We got to be hard line about that. You have a political class that is discussing tangible resources, concrete cash resources. Cash resources, cash resources.
We are at 10,000 dead Palestinians. How many will be enough? One of my colleagues just said all of them. Wow. One of my colleagues said all of them. One of my colleagues also stated that this is going to dry up their fundraising if we vote on this resolution.
Yeah. Everybody's talking about cash for everyone else. They're talking about how it affects their financial resources. Yet when we show up here, black folk get told what we can't get. Meanwhile, everybody else is having the red carpet rolled out and the resources brought in by the trainload. They got box cars full of resources for these other folk, while they simultaneously tell you what would be too much and they can't afford and we can't do that. No, we're not accepting any other excuses for any reason. The answer to everything is everybody else's everything gets put on hold. Well, what about the illegals, man? Look here, cut the check. Well, Black, Brown, cut the check. Ukraine, cut the check. Afghanistan, cut the check. No, I'm not supporting anything for anybody else. Cut the check over here. Break our bread. And not just in one area, break that bread across the board. Break that bread across the board. If anyone wants to know, Jason, what do you mean when you say reparations across the board? Here they are putting it in action for everybody except us. That is an act of warfare. I am not going to mince words on that. That is an act of war. That they've declared war against us. That they are here to weaponize the society against us. You better recognize exactly what they're doing and exactly what they mean when they do things like that. However, you might disagree. Therefore, the telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the Blackest radio program in existence, the only one of its kind on planet Earth today. As always, you are welcome to join us. I would like to thank Mr. Richburg, Mr. Jules, Mr. Maxwell, Najee, and everyone else here who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. We are living in the most dangerous era that we have been in here because they are attempting, not just attempting, but they are working to completely reorganize the social order here to make sure that they drown us in buffer classes so that politically, if we choose to use politics, that will no longer work in our favor. That there simply will be no means to get the political process to work in our favor anymore. That they will tell us, well, all you can do is vote, all you can do is vote, all you can do is vote. Then they've gone and disarmed the electoral process for us and then say, oh, well, you kept losing the election. You keep bringing in folks who shouldn't even be here. Oh, well. That's what they're doing today. Let's go ahead and get to the telephone lines. Let me get caller from area code 773. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Alexander by way of Waukegan, Illinois, part of the Chicagoland area.
All right, Alexander from Waukegan, what's on your mind?
A lot of stuff. Well, I'm just going to start with Brendan Johnson. It's just like he had just first came on the scene. He was part of the Chicago's Teachers Union. And usually teachers from the Chicago Teachers Union push that black and brown coalition stuff, diversity, people of color, everything that Dr. Clyde Anderson warned us about. So when he came on the scene, Brendan Johnson, I just knew that it was a wrap. And I would have, my honest opinion, I would have said, hey, his opponent, Paul Vallis, would have been like a viable candidate more than he, because Paul Vallis is an open white supremacist. And I like my white supremacy open and honest. That's number one. Number two, when a reporter questioned him about his plan for economics, he had mentioned initially Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Clyde Anderson. And when he once the reporter mentioned that, and he mentioned that to the reporter, he immediately apologized for mentioning Dr. Clyde Anderson's book, Black Labor, White Wealth. So no, that was strike two. Strike three, it's very disheartening, and this dude has utter contempt for Black Chicago, the home of Ida B. Wells Barnett, the home of the founder, John Poindusabo.
Well, that was what they learned how to do, though, because I warned people about this. Barack Obama, he was talking just like the Black Channel when in 2006, 2007, he was talking like Jason Black. He knew he's rolling around with Jeremiah Wright. So they've always known what the right thing was to say. They've always known who the right people were to quote. They've always known what the right issue was. And what they're showing you is that, yeah, we know what it is, and we're making a calculated strategy of attempting to circumvent that. Now, we don't see the white supremacists as the enemy. We see you as the enemy, that we're here to deceive you and hoodwink you. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller area code 773. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Eddie. Chicago, Illinois is where I'm from.
All right, Eddie in Chicago, what's on your mind?
Jason, where do I begin? This city is tight. Alderman the other day talking about they fear for their safety when they had that last council meeting. You should feel for your safety. You betrayed us in the nastiest way you can. I remember when Brandon Johnson was running for office. I didn't trust him, but he said he was going to make sure he take care of the black youth. The black kids out here on the street that ain't got jobs or whatnot, he said he was going to make sure he made opportunities for them. Oh, how he baited and switched and lied. He shouldn't even be allowed to be in the city right now. He should be out of office, tarred and feathered. Man, I can't.
Well,
Jason,
you know, I've always said this. Well, let's not get in trouble here, but I wanted to tell people here. This is hard to swallow. This is difficult to take. It's hella inconvenient, but I got to say it. This is good. This is good.
That's what
because what black folk have demonstrated is that if these people don't become so blatant, so over the top and everything else, they are just not going to change anything. So these folks got to keep the boots on the neck and got to keep the pressure on for black folk to really get galvanized and to start fighting back against it. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. That's their whole thing right here, folks. I want folks to understand being subtle in this long-term strategy here. Folks want to go back to sleep again. They want to go back to their cell phones. They want to turn on the NFL. They want to tune in and drop out. They want to turn up and turn off. At the end of the day, these folks got to be this blatant. They got to be this harsh. They got to be this serious. They got to be this upfront and in your face with it. Otherwise, black folk in Chicago just go back to sleep. They'll just roll back over. So yeah, they got to come at you this hard, this blatant, this overbearing, this unreasonable. They have to be this militant about it. They have to be. Call from area code 206. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Agnes, and I'm calling from Seattle, Washington.
All right, Agnes from Seattle. What's on your mind?
Hi. Politicians like Brandon Johnson, they're part of an overall agenda to bait and switch, first and foremost, while doing us in politically, economically, all across the board. You hit the nail on the head when you brought in Barack Obama. These are trained Trojan horses who have, they already have the intel on us. They already know how we move, how we think, how we act. So they just slide in, skinning and grinning. And once they're in places where they can do us damage, then the real agenda comes out.
It's a playbook, and I told people what it was. It's a playbook the entire time, and now they're showing you the new playbook is, we're just going to send in an endless stream of puppets. Some of them will be mulattoes, some of them won't. Some of them will be heterosexual, some of them won't. But all of them will be having a sleeper agenda, specifically black. We are choosing black representatives specifically to target black people. That's diabolical. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Now let me get caller code 210. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is D from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. What's funny is connecting all these dots. I was just thinking about how during the presidential debate, when they asked Biden about reparations, his answer was talking about immigration. But it looks like what this whole plan is flooding all the areas with illegal immigrants in all these cities. And on top of this, what's going on in Chicago, what's giving a feeling to me is a powder keg is happening. And I don't think these local black politicians see what's happening. This is going on. It's creating a powder head. And if we remember, some of us who heard the speech from Malcolm X talking about the ballot or the bullet. And And I don't think these local politicians on this blatant act, because I've never seen such blatant disregard for the black voter, particularly in that last video of people coming to the Chicago Assembly, speaking to the politicians, and people, bearing their heart. And the black politicians were so brazen towards the black voters. I've never seen anything so disrespectful.
Well, what that really tells you is the caliber of individual that the Democrats have chosen. That's what it really shows you. These people were hand-picked and selected. Barack Obama didn't just show up out of nowhere. He was hand-picked, selected, groomed over the course of years and decades. Simone Sanders, same thing. Lori Lightfoot, same thing. These are not unknown quantities. So the real issue here is black folk up until this point have been acting as if, well, as long as they got a black face, we got a black face in a high place, they should understand what needs to be done without us taking into account the Democratic Party has tried to weaponize the political process by feeding us black Trojan horse politicians. When you approach the political process like that, that's what happens. Thank you very much for giving us a call, Mike. Let me get caller area code 312. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Greetings. I hope this is me. My name is Asante Y, and I'm a resident of Chicago, Illinois, dark-skinned indigenous person. The word we need to be using is genocide. Brandon Johnson is creating genocide on the dark-skinned people. And Chicago is also known as Crook County, always. So I'm hoping that the dark-skinned people wake up and realize that you are indigenous to this land. You're not a slave to this land. You was already here. You must remember that. I'm a Cayuga Indian. My family kept records. Stop letting them call you immigrants. You are not an immigrant. You are the original people of the land, which was known as Turtle Island, the real name, which they changed. Your colonizers changed it to the United States of America. Great job. I'm glad you're out there.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me get caller from area code 469. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Thomas calling from Dallas, Texas.
Thomas from Dallas, what's on your mind?
Jason, I don't see how black Chicagoans are surprised about this. I mean, I think you spoke on this a couple of years ago how corrupt Chicago was. I mean, you don't even live there. You knew how corrupt it was. And the black politicians there are never going to fight for the people. Only political party we have is the new black media. And I mean, can you imagine? I mean, think about that. Them people didn't even need a study. They tell us we need a study, but they didn't even need a study to give these people all these benefits that they're giving them in Chicago. And if black people keep voting for black Chicagoans in Chicago, it's their fault. But like you said, we fight better when our backs against the wall. And this is good for us. For them to bend over and show their ass in our face, and that's good for us because we've been put to sleep by the Democratic Party. If we ever go back to sleep again, it is our fault because we are in political war right now with Democrats and whoever coming in this country. B1, Jason.
B1, brother, thank you very much for giving us a call tonight here. We also have someone on the line here who's apparently calling, I think maybe they're calling from outside of the country or whatever, I'm not sure. But whatever the case may be there, definitely you're going to want to let the mods know so we can definitely see about that. Let me get caller from area code 219. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Sherry, and I'm calling from Indiana.
Okay,
and
Sherry from where at in Sherry from where at in Indiana?
Oh, Griffith. And Northwest Indiana. So what I'm trying to say here today, I consider myself an ADOS. I'm a native Chicagoan, okay? I've seen Chicago at its worst and at its best, but that's not where we're at here. Where we're at is us, African-American, ADOS, whatever you want to call yourself. You need to stop begging the government, okay? These people are trying to put food on their tables. all of the what do you call those, the diplomats and everything like that. But the diplomats, you know, one thing about them is that they're trying to do a job, just a job for the job's sake. You understand? They're not trying to hold us back. The only thing that they owe us are reparations. Yes, they owe us that. But until they pay it, we have to try to do the best we can to get it done. Okay? But other than that, like an ADOS, you brush yourself off, you get yourself a job, you go to school, and you live your life.
Okay.
Why is all this
All right,
handout
okay, calm down, ma'am. You're wired.
Okay.
You're wired for sound. Calm down, ma'am. Let me find out here. How old are you?
How old am I?
Yes, how old?
I'm 66. Soon in 2 months, in January, I will be 67.
There you go. All right, that explains a lot of it there.
Auntie, chill!
All right.
What do you mean? Why you say that?
Yeah, because like I say, I mean, I'm hearing the coon boots tap dancing a little bit there. I'm hearing.
Not me, honey. Oh no, far from it.
I'm kind of
Authority.
hearing. Okay, ma'am, I'm kind of hearing the coon boots tap dancing there, because
I'm sorry.
You said these people are trying to put food on their table. Who are these people?
You know.
No, I don't.
What's his name? In Chicago, any of the black diplomats, they're trying to put food on their table. They're trying to do a job for the job's sake.
Okay, well.
You see.
Okay.
And not only that, do we have like the immigrants?
Right.
We have refugees
Okay,
coming now
ma'am.
too.
Okay, calm down.
I'm sorry.
Calm down. Now, he's trying to do a job. Okay, and what is the job he's supposed to be trying to do?
Allocating funds, making sure our conglomerate or whatever you want to call it, your aggregate or whatever, that's okay. But for God's sake,
no, that's really no, that's
black people
okay,
need to
ma'am.
show the government
Okay,
who's doing
ma'am,
food stamp.
ma'am. Okay, the meth
Yeah.
the meth is good in Indiana. Apparently, the meth is good. Calm down.
I don't know. I don't do drugs like
okay,
that.
if you don't,
I do smoke marijuana, but
say,
I don't do drugs like that.
It's way more than just marijuana now. It's just a little bit more than that.
No, I'm just authority. I've been watching you for a long
How are
time.
you in
I
your
always try to
60s?
catch you.
And how is she in her 60s and is this wired for sound? That's the marijuana ain't gonna do this. We need something a little bit more stringent.
You know why?
And I'm
know
not
why?
holding it against
Authority.
you.
Because all my numbers line up at the doctor's office. I've taken good care of myself all my years, my adult years.
I imagine.
I live a good
I
life,
imagine.
and that's how I know.
I
that these black
imagine
people
all
need
the.
to stop taking
I imagine
government.
all the numbers did line up. I'm sure they're either 666 or 5150. I'm sure they did line up perfectly fine. But here's the issue here. The issue is that Brandon Johnson was put into his position by the electorate and by a black electorate. That right there defines the parameters of his job and his mandate. So anybody who would attempt to argue that there's something else going on or that that's not what it is, well, that person is either highly ignorant or highly dishonest. But that's the only way that you arrive at this particular destination. So he was put there for a reason. He saw what happened to his predecessor. They didn't get reelected. They got voted out. He also understands what he was saying before he got in office. So that's what you are representing. So, and the other thing is when you say stop depending on the government, who is it okay, who is it that you're saying is depending on the government?
Well, the first reference that people usually go to about the immigrants, and they could even do it for the refugees now too.
Okay, ma'am.
They need to stop
all right,
talking about the benefits the government are giving
let's
them.
not get going to lecture. I'll try this the second time. Who are you referring to when you said, and we need to stop? You need to stop depending on the government. Who is the you were referring to? Second try.
People that don't have the stamina as the ADOS do, the true African Americans does. We get up, we go to work, and we don't. And by the way, I'd like to say this before you hang up on me, I guess. You know, millennials and Gen Zs, they have got their heads up white people's asses too far for my taste. How about that?
Okay. Like I say, those coon boots are tap dancing a little bit louder now. It's a little bit louder is what I'm hearing. So,
If you say so.
Okay,
but
sounds a
I
little
love
bit
your
loud.
show,
It
and I
sounds a
love
little
you.
bit louder now. I'm just saying it's getting a
I'm
little
sorry,
bit louder.
but I will forever watch your show. That's it. I'm a YouTuber all day.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Okay, somebody come get your grandma because, yeah, she's in rare form. Caller from area code 240. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, man, DJ GPS, Mr. Black.
All right, Randy from
Hello?
where?
No, DJ GPS from DC.
Okay, DJ GPS from DC. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I wanted. I don't disagree with you that much. I think you're kind of hard on the hoes. I saw last night's program, but I was a little rough on them hoes. But the Palestinian issue, the Gaza issue, I'm sorry, Jason, that is a black man's issue. That's a black man issue because I don't know if you have or mentioned or seen, but I know a lot of black men, millions, thousands of black men who has been touched by Islam, who's changed their life by Islam. And if you ever met Muslim people or been around Muslim people, it's a glow about them, a good glow about them. And I've seen Islam save a lot of black men. So I can say that, this Palestinian thing, this thing has been going on longer than me and you both been alive, okay?
Okay, the Palestinians, though, are not the representatives of Islam. So you're conflating Palestinians and Islam and then trying to connect us to that. So that's really convoluted, sir.
No, they're Muslim people. We're not connecting.
But how much? Okay, but sir, that's all very nice to hear. But that's like saying about prison inmates. But most of us are not prison inmates, just like most of us are not Muslims. So you're taking a small niche market and trying to conflate that to being something that covers all of us, and it isn't. What else you got?
No, I didn't say that. No, I said no. I didn't know. No, that's how you took it. I said
no, sir. That's what you just said. No, sir. No, sir. That is what you just said. You've been recorded. You said this is a black issue. Then you went off talking about, well, there are black folks, sir. You said that this is a black issue.
Okay, listen,
sir.
Yeah, it is a black issue.
Okay, let me try this a different way. The meth tonight is heavy. If folks want to try to talk over the host, they'll get a one-way ticket. So we're not going to do that. All right. You said this is a black issue and you were going to show us a black issue. You then detoured and broke off the road into the woods to say, well, there are black folk who are Muslims and Palestinians. Well, there's a lot of them who are Muslims. Therefore, that is a black issue. No, sir, what you just described was a Muslim issue. And you once again tried to conflate that into being a black issue. No, you said it right the first time. That's a Muslim issue. Not a black one.
Can I ask you another question? Have you ever seen? Are there black Palestinians? Have you ever seen the Afro-Palestinian? Are you know knowledgeable?
Well, of course you have. Of course you have melanated people around the world. But once again, how does that affect those of us of descendants of slave lineage?
How does that help the industry? It doesn't help us in our cause over here.
Crickets.
It doesn't help us in the cause, but it's a black message because I've seen black people, black Muslim people have spread that
okay,
goodness.
tell me how diverting our focus off of what we're doing to quote unquote assist in helping the Palestinians, how does that benefit our cause over here?
No, I didn't say nothing about diverting.
Right. Okay, but sir, then but you say this. You say that's a black issue. Tell me how diverting our resources and focus onto them helps our cause over here. Second try.
No, we don't have to divert any of our issues. All we have to do is do our cause in our hearts and stand out and speak and use our voices like we do for our matters.
Okay, right.
We don't have no money to take care of our issues.
And
so
that
of course we can't donate.
And that assists us how?
That assists us how?
You've been asked the same question multiple times, and we just don't have an answer.
Listen, as being humans and not turn into the same people that we're fighting against. We're not going to turn into heartless, cold people that are just going to turn our back on thousands of innocent people and children dying, women and children dying because of our issues. No, I don't think we're selfish like that as black people.
Okay, sir.
Sorry.
If you really want us to be able to materially support other people, We have to get our entire act together, not a piece of it, not part of it. We need to get our whole act together. Because what you just, sir,
we need all our money.
Sir,
we need
I'm
all
going to say this.
I ain't talking about
okay, sir, I'm going to say this one last time. The host is talking. You're not that geeked up. Calm yourself down.
I'm not that geeked up.
Okay,
I'm not
sir.
upset.
Everybody, people are not going to hear
people,
both of us at the same time. If I'm talking and you start opening your mouth, then you're out of line. All right, Mr. I don't know if you're supposed to be a Muslim or not, but if you are, you're a horrible representative of Muslims because most Muslims are polite people. Something that you teach them as a child. You don't talk over other people.
This is not this. You're assassinating my character now.
Sir, so far you've done a very poor job of demonstrating character. So I'm not assassinating anything. I'm just putting a spotlight on it. That's all. Now, as I was saying here before, sir, what you just described was symbolic gestures, cheerleading. Well, if that's all the Palestinians want, we can show up one time and do that, and then we can get back to our business. But I don't think the Palestinians want symbolic gestures. I think they're looking for a whole lot more. These legislators and these people in the streets, they're not asking us to send symbolic support. They want us to send physical, material support. So you're completely refuting what they're saying they want.
Let me know when I can talk.
You're completely refuting what the very people in the streets and the Palestinians themselves say they want. They didn't say they want a pat on the back and moral support from us. That is not what they said they wanted. They want physical, material support.
Material support. Can't nobody get Palestine material support. They've been blockaded by Israel for 20 years. Can't nobody get nothing in there or out.
Okay, America controls Israel's policy. So yeah, that's why they're putting pressure on the American government, because Israel isn't going to do anything that the American government does not allow it to do. But you already knew that.
Correct.
So for you to say what you just said, that's really dishonest. You already knew that part already, though. But yet you said something that's totally the opposite. So what I'm saying is this is why this isn't our issue, because this is what it becomes. The folks who are concerned with this, we don't really have an honest conversation about that either. This is the reason why I'm like, hey, we don't need to get sidetracked into that. These are folks with other agendas. I will also say this. I'm not the least bit interested in corralling black people off into any religious-based conflict anywhere. So for someone to say that our interest in black people in something on the other side of the world is a religious thing, no, absolutely not. That's a complete detour away from any type of rational agenda. No way. There is no religious agenda anywhere in the world that we're obligated to come stomping for. Nowhere.
You don't think so?
It's not a matter of think, sir. That's a matter. No, sir. It's not a matter of think. It's a matter of fact.
I disagree because I think I just.
Okay, there are plenty of black. There are plenty of black folk who are Christians. Should we go have black folk in America be supporting various Christian groups? You know, like in Ukraine and Afghanistan. Why? So you're obviously advocating that we should do the same thing there because those folks are Christians, and there's a lot of black folk who are Christians who've been helped by the Christian church. So does your logic and rationale hold there also?
Well, we're not talking about them. They're not
okay, second time. Your rationale was that, well, there are black folk who are Muslims and Palestinians are Muslims, and I've seen a lot of black folk helped by Muslims. Therefore, we should be supporting Palestinians, whatever that means. Great, but there are far more black people who are Christians. Therefore, do you also hold the same logic that if there are black folk who are Muslims, we should be supporting Muslims around the world? And also, if there are black folk who are Christians, well, we should also be supporting all the Christians around the world, too.
Black Christians? Isn't this a B1 situation?
So you're saying that? Black, so you're saying that we should only support the?
I don't care if you're Muslim.
Are you saying that we should support only the black Palestinians?
You're black, right?
Okay. Okay. Let me make sure I understand what you're saying. So you're saying that we should be support. I guess what you're trying to imply, because you're not saying it because you can't really do it, but is that we should be supporting the black Palestinians? Is that what you're saying?
We should be. It's black Palestinians over there, aren't they?
Okay, sir. Let me try this again. Are you advocating that we should? Okay. Yes. Are you advocating that we should help?
Yes, we should.
No. Are you advocating that we should help the black Palestinians or all Palestinians?
All Palestinians, because guess what? Black Palestinians don't live under oppression with Palestinians. They live under oppression with Israel. So the Palestinian people I've never heard any stories from Black Palestinians being oppressed by other Palestinians. It'll never happen because that don't happen in true Islam.
Okay.
There's no racism in Islam.
There's no racism in the Muslim countries in the Middle East, sir?
Not in Islam. I said Islam.
Sir,
Islam.
those countries are theocracies. Saudi Arabia is a theocracy. Iraq is a theocracy. Yemen is a theocracy, sir. Iran is a theocracy. They're also racist as hell. You need a basic civics. You need a basic civics lesson. Get out the religion and go take a basic civics lesson about the Middle East. Because what you're saying is a bunch of symbolic fantasy that is not in any way related to the reality of what the hell's going on the ground over there, man. You don't even know the basics of it. You don't even know the basics.
I don't know the basics. I don't know the basics. You mean to tell me that you think that there is racism practiced in an Islamic country? Are you serious? Do you know in Islamic countries,
how about the Sudan,
they have
sir?
to protect
How about the
communities?
Sudan? How about the Sudan, sir?
You don't know enough about
sir,
Islam.
How about the
Sudan?
Sudan?
You don't know enough about
how about the
Muslim
Sudan, sir?
To even get
sir, how about the Sudan?
Yeah, bro. You sounding codish right now.
Okay,
bro.
wow. Did you hear that? Now he said, yeah, but sir, what about the Sudan?
What about the Sudan?
So there's no racism against black. So there's no racism by the Muslims against the black folk in the Sudan. That's not the perfect example of it.
Now you just gave me some homework. I'll go look that up.
Okay, well, when you get...
I don't know. I'll go look that up. I'll research that.
Okay, sir, when you actually get knowledgeable about this subject as opposed to being religious about the subject, it's going to open up a whole new world of knowledge to your eyes there. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight and dropping the collective IQ by 5 points. Caller from area code 240, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Are you talking to me? This one here? If it is, I'm Laquetta calling from Maryland.
Okay, Laquetta calling from where in Maryland?
White Plains, Maryland.
Okay, Laquetta from White Plains, Maryland. What's on your mind?
Yes. Thank you so much for this discussion. I appreciate it so much, and also for the opportunity to say something. I'm one of them grandmas, but I'm not like the grandma you was kidding around. I know you were serious, but it was funny as hell to me. Okay? I have been a soldier out there for most of my life, and what I learned is that we cannot help everybody else until we help ourselves. And the reason why I believe that is because when I was out in the streets being an activist, trying to do things for our people, I found myself exhausted because when you're a leader, everybody wants you to help them. Okay? And what I learned is it was a waste of my time to help everybody else because when it came to my own people, I didn't have any energy left to do what I needed to do for my people. So I had to quit doing all that stuff for all those other people out there and focus on my own people. You only got 24 hours in a day. Okay, and you got things you got to do for yourself, for your family, and work, and whatever you have left over, you give that to you give that to the community. And also in dealing with what's going in the community, we need. I'm also from the people that've been here since before the Europeans, because I had to do my what. You there?
Right, let me bring you land your plane, ma'am. Land your plane.
Okay. We need to know. We need to know. I already said point one. Point two is we need to know who our enemy is. Okay, who we really fighting against. And the people over there in Israel their history, many of us, in trying to find the truth out about who we are, had to learn who they are. And they are here, and they're running things here in America, just like they tried to run things in Germany, which led to World War I, World War II, and them being in Israel. They're trying to...
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Folks, I know it's very tempting to filibuster. I literally got a dozen calls up here. So, folks, land your planes. Let me get caller from country code 525. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Big brother Jason. Long time, first time.
Okay. What's your name? Where are you calling from, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Bray from Mexico City by way of New Orleans.
All right, Bray from Mexico City. What's on your mind?
Okay, first of all, a couple of things. First of all, thank you so much. I know you heard it 1,000 times, but this will be 1,001. Thank you so much for your insight. You cover a wide range from politics to power dynamics, which is power dynamics, I think, is brilliant. I never heard that from anyone else, and I know no one else on YouTube has come close to the way you discuss it. Second thing is, I started traveling the world in 2020. And I discovered your channel in 2022, and with the help of you, Tariq, and the professor, I decided, you know what? I'm not going to put information on my YouTube channel about my exploits traveling the world. I'm going to change my format to Black Empowerment. Now, obviously, I don't come close to you and those other guys, but I hope someday to do so. You guys inspire me. Big brother Jason, you inspire me every day to listen to your broadcast. The other thing is,
all right, brother, bring it in for a landing.
Is that a clue that I should land my plane?
Bring it in for a landing, brother. I appreciate the kind words, but we have a subject we're talking about here tonight, so bring it in for a landing.
No, I just wanted to get that out since I haven't spoken to you before. So my main point was the black mayors, Brandon Johnson, Eric Adams, who I hear moonlights as mayor, Officer Adams, and Latoya Cantrell. These are black mayors, and I wanted to get your take on why do you think these black people, disregard the black population so much? Why do they sell us out so much? In different ways.
Because they don't belong to us. These are people who were brought to us. They didn't come from us. The Democratic Party has embarked on a campaign and a strategy of creating political candidates plucked out of obscurity, out of nowhere, put a bunch of money behind them, and claim, oh, this person's the front runner, this person is the person you need to be supporting. And these are people who have no grassroots support, no connection to the communities whatsoever. They really cut their teeth with it with Barack Obama going on 20 years ago. And so you've had a never-ending parade of attempting to replicate that formula ever since. And it should be no surprise that you keep seeing it pop up in Chicago, for example. But this is the new strategy. Grab some nobody out of nowhere, some no face out of nowhere, just so long as they're on the agenda. And then that's going to be who they're going to push. And here's your representative. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, folks. They are wearing me out tonight. They are wearing me out tonight here, folks. I'm fair warning to everybody. I don't know if I'm going to make it tonight. I don't know. Caller from area code 312. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name's Cakes. I'm calling from Chicago.
Okay. What's your name again?
Cakes.
Okay, are you saying cakes or takes?
Cakes. CAKES.
Okay, cakes is off the poll in Chicago. What's on your mind, sister?
Well, just stating pretty much the obvious. Like when Emma Mitz accepted the apology, the man couldn't even get it out his mouth all the way before she got her old decrepit self up with these fake tears in her face, accepting his apology. Emma Mitz been selling out her neighborhood for what she say almost 30 years, and it's just black people, we don't have representation, and I don't know, like, what's the point of them voting at this point in time, because it's like it's damn if you, it's like you don't have no options. I'll leave it right here.
I think that's a good. Let me find out here. Now are you on South Side or West Side?
I'm on the West Side.
Okay. And you make a good point about that, is that there's some of these individuals who've been around for decades and they've been overseeing this occurring. And behind the scenes, or not even behind the scenes so blatantly, they've just been overseeing it and watching it and being passive observers. And now you've gotten to a point where it's reached a critical mass that the electorate has stood up and is saying something, but these folks now find themselves in an unenviable position because they are not really able to hide it anymore. That's the real problem. They're not able to hide it anymore. And in all honesty, the black population had other priorities. Now things have swung in this unpredictable direction. They never imagined that this much acute attention would be focused on this. So now they know what they need to say to satisfy their black constituency, but they're not able to say it because the very folks that you're asking them to come out against, well, those are the folks that they've been having these backdoor meetings with. So this is why I remind people, you're playing against the white supremacists, yeah, but your black politicians see themselves as playing against you.
That's a fact. And one last thing, we've been having runoffs with the aldermen and stuff like that. Even the freshman aldermen that's brand spanking new, they sat it on the side of white supremacists as well.
Well,
so
here's the thing. Did
reiterate.
anybody actually ask them if they had a black agenda before throwing their support to them? Just saying, I support my people, and wearing a shirt that says black on it. Yeah, that's not a black agenda. Did anybody actually do that?
So, well, that alderman, those aldermen from Southside, so I'm not familiar with them, but the alderman that went against ours, he had a runoff and everything else, I specifically asked him. I specifically went through the rigmarole. What's your black agenda? What's your stance on immigration? What's your stance on reparations and stuff like that? Same thing with Danny Davis. That's why I could never lend my vote to him. He's running for re-election, but he just voted to have a bill for these illegals to be able to work. That's in the Office of New Americans. He signed off on that. But yet and still, when I sat there and I asked Danny Davis, myself, look at our neighborhoods. It's getting gentrified by Hispanics. He say, turn off your TV. This is how tone deaf this man is. He say, turn off your TV. He say, don't listen to Trump. Because this is years ago. This is how long I've been pressing him. He say, don't listen to Trump. Hispanics is not your enemy. He say, these people don't want to work. That's the problem. These people they wasn't raised right. I say, we need resources and stuff. They won't work even if we do got resources. We have the largest WIC office in the state of Illinois right down the street. That's what he told me. And I'll never vote for him.
Well, what he did was he exposed why it was that the Democrats and the white paymasters chose him. He showed you right there. He's on the team. He's in the tank. He's in their back pocket. He's bought and sold and owned. That's the reason they got him there. Now, let me explain to you why that is and what happens for everybody who wants to know what happens here. If you've all been watching Keisha Bottom B, then you've been able to see exactly what occurs, okay? Keisha Bottom B has sat up here and she was doing like Roland Martin and the rest of them, trying to jockey for a White House position, some job at some higher position in government. And they usually try to go for one of two things now. They try to get a higher position or appointment in government, or they try to get some deal in the private sector. So this is when you get, these folks who try to get on MSNBC or CNN or Netflix or Spotify or something like that. That's the game going on now. So their job, the Simone Sanders of the world and the rest of them, their job is to try to make that work. Keisha, that was her thing. That's what she was trying to do. Some of the other mayors you've had in places like New Orleans and New York, that's what they've been trying to do. DC, I can go down the list. So just recognize that their agenda for being there is radically different. They've been bought off for a government job and the promise of a potential career in something else after the fact. That's what's going on there. Look, the bottom line is this. Black folks in Chicago gonna have to get back to the basics. Well, Jason, when you say the basics, what are you talking about? I'm talking about Fred Hampton. Well, Jason, what do you mean by that? What I'm saying is that was a policy that came from the soil. All these niggas that you got to take it back to the streets. All these niggas nobody knows. We never heard of him. He's got no street credibility. Folks have been deluded into thinking that street credibility is a bad thing. Hell no, street credibility is the only way forward. You're going to have to start judging people on what's their street credibility. Who's vouching for him? Whose man is this? Lori Lightfoot, whose man was that? Brandon Johnson, whose man was this? Whose man is this? Who knows him? Hey, who vouching for you? Where you from? Where your people from? Who vouching for you? You got a bunch of absolute strangers being parachuted in from every damn where. Barack Obama should have never gotten as far as he did. You know why? Because he ain't got no family from Chicago. How the hell did this guy from Indonesia or Hawaii or wherever come parachuting in the Chi-Town and all of a sudden he gonna run it? The streets should have been like, it ain't never gonna work. Nobody can vouch for you. Well, Reverend Wright, okay, that's one person right there. Look here, you need more people. You need more people. Yeah, we'll check back with you in 10 years. You need more people. That's going to have to be the policy and the operating procedure going forward in Chicago. Folks that nobody knows, nobody can vouch for, they ain't from the soil, they're trying to speak for everybody. No, you can't be there. You cannot. We got to take it back to the grassroots. We got to take it back to people that the street corner recognizes, that the street recognizes, the people recognize. They got the roots there, that they solid. You got so many flaky ass people. Brandon Johnson ain't from the streets. He has no street support. The Democratic Party said, well, here's our candidate. That's not going to be that's not going to work. That's not going to be the satisfactory criteria. That ain't going to work. We have to get back to the soil, back to the days of Fred Hampton, where the only cats we rock with are people that we recognize, that they have a long-standing track record. See, here in Louisiana, that's the reason why these black puppet politicians are finding it real damn hard to get any traction lately. Gary Chambers can't get no traction. Who is you? Where you from? Who you representing? Whose man is this? Nobody knows. The last fella trying to run for governor of Louisiana. Whose man is this? We said, no, we ain't going for it. Chicago needs to pick up that energy. Whose man is this? No, that's not a bad thing, and that's not being supportive. You need to stop being so supportive. Quote unquote blanket support. That's how the hell you got Brandon Johnson. Lori Lightfoot was slow walking the illegals up in there. Brandon Johnson has opened the damn floodgates. And he's like, well, I got 4 more years to do it. That's unacceptable. The standard needs to get back to the street level. If folks can't vouch for you, you all got to have the guts to say, yeah, we can't fool with you, bruh. Nobody can vouch for you. Check back with us in 10 years, but you got to put in some street work. Nobody can vouch for you. You see, if Brandon Johnson was out here talking about these same things for the last 5 years, it'd be a different issue. He was sitting there on the school board, which gives you no track record of him actually going to bat on these issues. In other words, what I'm saying, you got to have folks who done put in work on the issue already, that their position is known, that they've been out here in the streets talking about that. Then you can vote for them. Somebody who was doing something else unrelated, now, vote, put me in a position of power, even though I've never proven that these are positions I stand behind. somebody saying they're going to have the position of power, they can't talk the talk. They got to show you that they put in the work. Absent that, can't go. I'll let you have the last word.
Last word is the audacity for Brandon Johnson to sit his faux hawk on the west side of Chicago and then take himself to Washington and ask for $5 billion when we don't have resources here shows we have no representation, and he does not respect us just the same with the rest of them. And I'll leave it there. B1.
B1, thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 630. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Jason. This is Nick from Chicago by way of Houston.
Nick from Chicago, what's on your mind?
Yeah, two things. One, these mayors and black politicians from New York, Chicago, Houston, all over the place, they're about to get a wake-up call that's about to be very ugly. I mean, the other politicians, non-black ones, they'll get a wake-up call too, because black people just ain't playing it anymore. The second thing is, to continue off of that, I see the situation as real serious, and I think it's a little bit different this time because out of nowhere, even the coonish people I grew up with, even some of the people I still have around me for business purposes, but they're kind of coonish, from old to young, they have been voluntarily saying, how could these people do this? I don't have to bring up the subject anymore. I don't have to argue with them. I don't have to say anything to them. They're saying, how are these people doing this and expecting nothing to happen? They don't expect that they're saying these words, military, the police, the people that work under them, they're not going to do something to them. So when these people are saying, hey, they're fearing for their safety, that's why. Because even these people out of nowhere, just in the last week, they're saying this to me. I'm on the phone with them doing whatever it is, and they're voluntarily saying it. That's why I think at this point, this is something different for Chicago. If they fumble the ball now, I don't think it's any turning back. There is no time for let's wait another 4 years or whatever. This guy's going to have to shape up, and they're going to have to kick him out, and they're going to have to force his hand right now. I don't care what he was running on. I don't care what that was before, because politicians can change mid-cycle if it's enough pressure on them. And I think that's where that groundswell is pretty close to. That's where I see it right now. And if I'm wrong, then I don't really see any turning back for Chicago. Not any 4 or 8 years down the line. It's going to look just like California's looking. The place I grew up on, it's one black family on that block. That's my family house, my grandmother's house. Everybody else, Hispanic. Every single other person. When I grew up over there, it was all black people there and one white family or something. Now, and she said this happened over an 8-year period of time. 8-year period of time, only one, and they're trying to get her to sell the house. She said she's not going to do it. She's going to pass it down to her son and my uncle. So she said, no, she's not going to do it. I don't know what my uncle's going to do, if he's going to sell under the pressure, because they're trying to get her some good deals. She is not selling, but they are trying to pressure everything. They're doing stuff to her house, whatever, all this other stuff. They're the only ones left on that block. But I see something different, even from these old sellouts that actually put them in that position anyway. But if they put enough pressure on it and everybody comes together, they're out.
Okay, here's the thing. You can't do anything with or about Brandon Johnson. He was put in this position to be a one-termer, just like his predecessor was. So just like you got single-use plastics, you now have single-use politicians. Their entire purpose is to be some empty suit propped up by corporations and political parties. Put him in office. He carries the ball for 4 years. Let's see if we can get another one to carry the ball for 4 years. So what's going to have to happen now is the agenda. Brandon Johnson cannot shape up. He's going to have, the whole thing is the black body politic has to say that this is a zero tolerance event and that there is nothing he could do, from apology to the cure for cancer, that would be able to redeem him from this. That's got to be the policy going forward. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Now let me get caller Miracle 651. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good evening, Jason Black. This is Bill calling out of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
All right, Bill out of Minneapolis. What's on your mind?
To allude to what the caller has been basically saying, I'm living out here in Minneapolis, and there's already been the residual effect of years of bringing in immigrants to the city of Minneapolis. Basically, it's simple as this. The Somalis pretty much took over the entire Riverside area here in Minneapolis. And I can tell you from experience that when they brought the Somalis in from the soil into Minnesota, they brought in a lot of the same familiar problems that they had over there in Somalia over here in Minnesota. And when Eric Adams and Brandon Johnson bringing in the immigrants down here to Chicago, what basically happened here is that now you basically are increasing the issue of public safety, and then also basically endangering many of the black folks living in those areas. So the thing is that they're basically doing the job of what the Democratic Party wants them to do, to bring them in, not just to replace the black vote too, but to take away a lot of the jobs and basically deviate themselves away from the issue of reparations. So I'm telling everybody, from somebody that's lived in Minneapolis, do not let these people get away with this. Do not let them, because if they do, it'll be exactly what's going on in California. What do you think about that, Mr. Black?
Well, like I say, once again, this goes to, single-use politicians, and you're absolutely correct. This is about the fundamental restructuring of these places, specifically to neutralize that ever-present and increasingly problematic black constituency, black population. What America has decided is that rather than do Nazi Germany, what they're going to do to solve the black problem, or the black solution, the solution to the black problem, is to simply flood the zone with non-black people and neutralize it, and basically watch black people in America, watch their popular support and political strength wither on the vine over the course of the next 50, 100 years. Because everyone is watching they watch the numbers of the white population and what's supposed to happen by 2050. But what they're not taking into account is what are the population numbers of these other folk. So now you're seeing all this focus on Asians all of a sudden. First Latinos, now all this focus on Asians all of a sudden, to make sure all these people, all these different folks got all this support, and support is always measured by tons and tons of money, while they turn around and tell black folk, we're here to deprive you of resources. And it really shouldn't require them to be this acute and this blatant and this severe and this extreme in what they're doing. But unfortunately, before now, folks weren't really taking action against it, so they had to get this extreme before people stood up here and said, oh, wait a minute. But I guess better late than never, although I wonder if it's too late. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 773. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, yes, Jason. This is Taryn from Chicago, Illinois.
All right, Taryn from Chicago. What's on your mind?
Oh, what's on my mind, man? You're absolutely correct. You got too many of these Sambo-ass niggas out here, and Brandon Johnson's a Sambo-ass nigga. This nigga don't know his left foot from his right foot. And some of these aldermen we have here in Chicago, they also capping. One alderman said, I'm going to resign. And I said to myself, that's bullshit. And Alderman Bill, Anthony Bill, on the far south side of Chicago, in Ward 8, he said he was just capping. He just giving people, throwing our people a bone just to keep his punk ass in office. Okay, these aldermen and these black aldermen and black women aldermen, they just say things just to keep themselves a paycheck, and they full of shit. They some Sambos, and Emma Mitz, she's a Sambo for real. I know her personally. But make a long story short, Brother Jason, the broadcast is very, very informative. And when you start your show, you always say, I need intelligent people calling in. The last few callers that called in, I don't know if they still playing with Play-Doh or whatever, or eating glue or whatever. Some of these people, I don't know if they capable of understanding some of your questions. It seems like as though you need to take them back to fucking grade school, bro. I'm just keeping it real, keeping it a buck.
Thank you very much for giving us a call.
Questions,
Well, folks, like I say here, please keep it short. I don't know what's going on the phones tonight. I really, really don't. I'm going to start shortening people's answers to like 30 seconds here. Let me get caller America code 404. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this Ball the Fourth. I'm calling from Coonville, Atlanta, Georgia. That caller several calls ago, that Muslim fraud, he doesn't know that Muslim owners that own stores here in Atlanta shoot at black folks that come in there and try to peddle their products. So it is discrimination with Palestinians here in America, sir. Second issue is that it's too late, man. It's too late because we should have saw this coming 20, 30 years ago. These grandmas that been calling in, they don't have no political strategy worth a damn. And they call here talking about this and that, what happened in the past, and what the Mexican man didn't went along with Harold Watson. There wasn't enough Mexicans to go. They had to go along. But they don't need to go along no more because it's enough of them to go without us. It's really too late, man. The only thing we can really do is stay out these stores and quit buying all this brand name shit and bling bling and start figuring out a way to buy from each other. That's it, brother. That's it. That's the last straw. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Folks, he got in, got it, and got out. There's a lesson to be learned there. Let me get caller from area code 714. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Shuby, calling from Gallup, New Mexico. And what I wanted to say right now, over the past few years, it just surprised and amazed me how much black people been talking about reparations. I wonder how shook they would be if black people started saying no reparations, no more joining the military. That's all I have to say.
Well, my response to that would be don't talk about it, be about it. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 904. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Barbara from Jacksonville, Florida.
All right, Barbara from Jacksonville. What's on your mind?
Well, I wanted to say this. Biden told us early in his when he got elected what he was going to do. He told the black community that we got to learn to accept orders from the Hispanic community. That's what he told us, and that's what has happened. And in my opinion, the reason they're letting all these Hispanics in is because they're going to use them to fight the black American. Because if you listen to what they're saying they're letting military-age men into America, and they're putting them in the black community. So who are they going to be fussing and fighting with? Nobody but the black man. And that's what I think.
You are absolutely correct about that, and that is all part of the plan. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Want to send a big shout out here to my man, Family Business. Thank you very much for your support on tonight's program. We appreciate that. This is like your 10th super chat on the live stream. So thank you very much for your support, as well as to Black Wonder, JC, Tamal, and everybody else who has contributed toward tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. Thank you very much for your support. Let me get caller code 708. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, caller from area code 708 has been abducted. Caller from area code 267, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, caller from area code 267 has been abducted as well. Let me get caller from area code 224. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay. Well, it appears we've got a bunch of zombie calls tonight here. So I guess that's the universe trying to say, Jason, it's time for you to go ahead and wrap things up here. So I would hate to run afoul of the universe. We're going to go ahead and do that then. Like I say, the phone calls have been special tonight, or special ed. But in any case here, folks, like I say, these are single-use politicians, and going on from here on in, they are dedicated to disinheriting us by any means necessary. And they sent black faces to do it. Therefore, the criterion cannot be, are they black? The criterion must be, are they black first? Do they have a black agenda? And who is vouching for their credibility? No more unknown quantities. No more unknown individuals who everybody don't know their track record. No more of that. If the streets can't vouch for you, then we can't vote for you. Period. End of discussion. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go and check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War, all available on DVD and streaming. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program. Thank you for watching live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, eat this, drink this, sleep this, think this, breathe this, feel this, live this, love this, everything we are, black first.